Farmers and Merchants Bank, established in 1934, is your friendly hometown bank. With 3 convenient locations in Dadeville, Hughley, and beautiful Lafayette, Alabama, Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve your personal and business banking needs. Great rates, great service. Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve. Give them a call at 334-864-9941. Farmers and Merchants Bank, proud supporters of Chambers Academy.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the Chambers Academy Sports Live Coaches Show with Coach Jason Allen. We are sponsored each week by Farmers and Merchants Bank. You might hear a little bit more about our hometown community bank later on tonight. We're also at Monte Alban 3 on the north side of Lafayette. And once again, I'm here with my friend and my partner, Chester Carter. Chester, it's great to be here with you, buddy.
Sid, always great to come up here to Monte Alban and have some good food and talk a little football about last week. Performance of the Rebels, and also look forward to tomorrow night as the Rebels will be hosting a new opponent. We've never played them before, Evangel Christian out of Alabaster, so it should be a good time tomorrow down at Torbert Allen Field.
Yeah, and as usual, we expect a giant crowd to be showing up for that Friday night event, and we'll talk more with our coaches and try to get some insights on Evangel after we talk about the big win over Morgan last week.
Yeah, it was a great homecoming, atmosphere down there for the Rebels. Rebels hosted Morgan Academy, and it was just a pomp and circumstance of homecoming week. Is always so much fun for the students as well as the parents there in the administration at school.
Well, you and I had a busy Friday night. We were running up and down the steps a little bit, working on some of the homecoming things, and we're really happy to be able to help out with that. Get beautiful ceremony. It came off without a hitch, and we're very happy to have had the homecoming court out there, all the beautiful young ladies and their escorts. It was a fantastic night.
Yeah, it was a great time. And, speaking of the activities, the great activities on the field, for the Rebel football team, the Rebels moved to 5-1 overall and 3-0 in the Eastern region. That's first place for them with that 52-12 victory over Morgan Academy.
Well, it was, you and I have talked about this a couple times. It was a really physical night. Very aggressive offensive play and defensive play by this Chambers Academy Rebels team, and pretty much a dominant win.
Yeah, the offense was anchored by Luke Tarver. He scored 5 touchdowns, and we also saw the return of senior Jacob Norgard to the lineup, which was exciting to see.
It was really good to see Jacob back out on the field. Chet, it was just an amazing night to see the dominating play on the line of scrimmage, and I know you're going to talk a lot more about some numbers here in a few minutes, but it was a big night, man. It was a great performance and a very long game. I did not ever remember a game going quite that long, but we got through it all right.
It was a great game, and also we want to give a shout out to Luke Tarver for winning the WTBM's Wendy's Giant of the Week award. We saw that this week, and congratulations to Luke. He is racking up a bunch of awards this year so far.
Hey, listen, our running game, the rush game continues to be strong across all the players who are touching the ball, and we'll get into that also a little bit more. But just, folks, one quick thing before we go to our break here. Let me tell you about tonight's show. You kind of know what we do. One of the things that we're going to change about tonight after we review the game story and some stats, we're going to have a special guest. So in one of our segments, we're going to have Stanley Tucker, who's the president of Farmers Merchants Bank, come up and visit with us. So we'll be happy to talk to Stanley and get some insights on community banking and his association with Chambers Academy, which is a long and deep one. And then we'll talk to our coaches. We'll talk to Coach Jackson and Coach Nesmith, and then we'll close it out with Coach Allen in the final segment.
Oh, yeah, we also want to thank all of our sponsors this year for all the support they give to us. Blue Button Embroidery in town, 3-2 Collective, Taffney Nelson. The list goes on, and we'll mention all those this evening as we go throughout everything. So, folks, we're going to take a quick break and come back to you with some highlights of last week's game against Morgan Academy.
Farmers and Merchants Bank, established in 1934, is your friendly hometown bank. With 3 convenient locations in Dadeville, Hughley, and beautiful Lafayette, Alabama, Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve your personal and business banking needs. Great rates, great service. Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve. Give them a call at 334-864-9941. Farmers and Merchants Bank, proud supporters of Chambers Academy. Shepherd Homeworks, established in 2004, headquartered in beautiful Lafayette, Alabama, serving East Alabama, Lake Martin, and West Georgia. At Shepherd Homeworks, we specialize in custom cabinets and millwork built in our very own cabinet shop. Contact Stephen Shepherd at 234-1180 to make your dreams become reality. And go Rebels!
All right, folks, and welcome back here to our Chambers Academy Sports Live Coaches Show, coming to you from Monte Alban here in Lafayette, Alabama. This segment, we're going to go over the actual homecoming game, the victory of Chambers Academy 52-12 against Morgan. It was a great time up there, great atmosphere for a football game on Friday night. And looking back, that was the first time that Morgan and Chambers have met up since, I think, the mid-1990s maybe. And I maybe not be right on that at all, but that's for the last time I saw it. It was a great night. The atmosphere up there was incredible, like I said. The temperature was beautiful for football. We got through all that heavy rain that deluged the area, and we were surprised to see how well Torbert Allen Field actually held up through all that work out there.
You know, it was strange. We only saw a couple of times when footing gave way, and it was really on the far end zone, our left, and everything else. The field looked great after the game, too.
Absolutely. So hats off to all the guys that work hard to make sure that field's in tip-top condition for the athletes out there. Well, hey, just jumping into the actual game itself, the Rebels offense got on the board quickly early in the first quarter. It took less than 2 minutes for the Rebels to put 2 touchdowns on the board early, and both of those were by Luke Tarver. One was the first drive, the Rebels took the ball down the field easily and scored a touchdown, and on the ensuing kickoff, there was a fumble, kind of a knuckleball by Nix down there, and it kind of caught the Morgan return team flat-footed out there, and the Rebels fell on it.
Yeah, it scored. You know, Chet, you mentioned this earlier to me. It really changed a lot of the tempo and kind of the real momentum of the game went all the way over to us after that turnover on the kickoff, and it was a quick 16-0 deficit.
Yeah, that's something that's hard to come back with, you know, only 1 minute off the clock in the first quarter. Set the tone for the game overall. So the Rebels continued to pile on the offense in the first half. They came into actually halftime with a 40-6 lead against the Senators, and the Senators' defense had no answer for the Rebel offense. It was, if they slowed down the running back, they went to the passing game, and vice versa.
Well, we kept them off pace, off their feet all night long. They never seemed to really be set and settled against that offense. And, when you start talking about these numbers, you'll see why. Across the board, in addition to Luke's huge night, we had other guys with big yards and just outstanding performances. And as Coach always says, it starts up front, and the big guys did a great job.
Oh, they sure did out there. As the Rebels went into halftime, they had a 40-6 lead, and then in the second half, they tacked on 2 more touchdowns, and the Senators got a touchdown for the final score of 52-12. Some of the stats for the Rebels were just impressive on the offensive side of the ball. 654 total yards for that Rebel offense. 205 passing yards. Landon Hand was 9 of 15 for 173 yards, 2 touchdowns. TJ Daniel, 2 catches, 53 yards, 1 touchdown. Cameron Gooden, 3 catches, 49 yards.
And a touchdown called back via penalty as well.
Yeah. So Cameron was upset about that one there. Kobe Watley got in some action there, 1 catch for 32 yards and a touchdown. Hunter Phillips, 1 catch for 24 yards. Eli Wharton, 1 catch for 19 yards. And Tristan Ayers, 1 catch for 18 yards. So way to spread the ball out there on the offensive side. It wasn't just one person on the passing game, but Landon did a good job distributing it to all of his wide receivers.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The ball was moving all over the place, and a lot of different guys participating.
For the rushing yards, 449 total rushing yards for the Rebels against Morgan Academy. Luke Tarver led the pack, 9 carries, 162 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Amazing numbers there for Luke.
Wow.
Jacob Norgard, 13 carries, 96 yards, 1 touchdown.
A quiet 96 because he really was kind of dominant in one of the long drives. Basically picked up the entire yardage from that drive and had a play call back, another one called back on a penalty.
That's right. Landon Hand from the quarterback position, 5 carries, 82 yards, and 1 2-point conversion. If he doesn't get it done in the air, he's going to get it done with his legs. Jack Nelms, 5 carries, 43 yards, Eli Wharton, 3 carries for 18 yards.
Well, and Chet, I always say this. I think back to the championship game. Might have been just 3 carries for Eli. They're really loud.
Yeah.
They were loud carries and really powerful rushes, and that's something that he brings to this team.
That's right. Some hard-nosed running right there. For the defense continues to play at a high level.
Absolutely.
The defensive line was holding the opposing team's rushing attack in check and also pressuring the quarterback. Either they're, putting heat off the edge, making him uncomfortable in the pocket. They just can't get set. Because when we saw that Morgan offense come out with 2 wide receivers each side,
yeah.
You're thinking, there's going to be a strong passing attack. But that quarterback could never get comfortable in the pocket, and they just disrupted him all evening long.
And they had great speed. They had one guy who was just, a burner. And he got into the game a little bit later on, but the pressure from that defense, when you say they were playing at a high level, it was a very high level. And the Senators from Morgan just had no answer for anything the defense was doing.
Nothing. So on the defensive side, some stats here. A.J. Knowles led the defense with 5 tackles. Tucker Thrower had 4 tackles. Aiden Anglin had 3 tackles and 3 pass breakups. Hunter Andrews, 3 tackles and 1 interception. Spencer Newman, 3 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 pass deflection. Luke Tarver with 3 tackles, and Bryce Modeling with 3 tackles.
Just outstanding defensive play across the board. Chet, we see this every week. There's just a number of guys, and it's just like the blanket philosophy of being around the ball on the tackles. Naming players of the game is a real challenge with this football team.
That's absolutely right. So the 5-1 Chambers Academy Rebels host the 6-1 Evangel Christian from Alabaster. It's the first time the 2 teams have ever met. This is a non-region game, and it's tomorrow here at Torbert Allen Field, so make your plans to come out tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock. Should be a great evening, good temperatures, no rain, so it should be a fun time tomorrow down at Chambers Academy. Right now, currently, Chambers sits in first place in the 3A region, the Region 1, which is the East region. They're 3-0. We have 3 more games left in the season, 1 more region game, and that's against Banks at home on October 18th.
Is that just kind of hard to believe that tomorrow night, we're playing Game 7 tomorrow night. It's just a crazy, quick move through the season.
Yeah, it just seems like yesterday we were packing up and going to Starkville for that game. So, it has flown by quickly here. And I don't want to look too far down the road, but we always do that as humans and everything. So looking down the road a little bit towards the 3A Region 2, the West, starting to kind of look down the road to playoff area. Morgan Academy is currently 5-0 overall and 2-0 in the region in the West.
Right.
And Fort Dale is 4-2 overall and 3-0 in region play. We did play them down there at their place. That was a non-region game. So, 4-2, they're sitting at overall, so we most likely will see them again in the playoffs. Yeah,
that region is shaping up, and, Monroe certainly is in good position, sitting undefeated, and Fort Dale's still in it as well. So, we're not quite ready to talk that playoff level, but it's good, I think, for us to keep our eyes on the other region, kind of know who might be on the horizon.
Yeah, and the big matchup coming up in 2 weeks will be the Monroe versus Fort Dale game down at Monroe. So something to watch for, during our off week next week, and, keep an eye on the West over there.
And we come back from the off week, and we play our final region game against Banks
at
home.
Yeah, so we are cutting through that schedule pretty quickly there, Sid.
Well, buddy, just as we always do, we want to take just a little bit of time and talk about one more aspect of last week, and let's talk about those players of the game. And guys, it is really hard for us to do this. We start at halftime trying to get ourselves in position to come up with players of the game, and especially the impact player, because there are very few players on that field who did not have a real impact on the game. So it was particularly tough this week. But let's review real quick. Our offensive player of the game, Luke Tarver, big night, 5 touchdowns. Congratulations, Luke, on the WTVM Giant of the Game award as well. Our defensive player of the game, Spencer Newman, did an outstanding job, man. He was just really unblocked and took over in the third quarter and just really did an outstanding job of controlling his area and contributing to that defensive front's dominance all night long. And that leaves us with one, Chester. We want to introduce our impact player of the game. So for this week, the Chambers Academy Rebel impact player of the game is Hunter Andrews. Congratulations, Hunter.
Yeah, Hunter had he actually had a 30-yard punt return, an interception, and some tackles as well on defense. So Hunter, he's always, if he's not making the play on the defense, he's coming hot off that edge and creating a disruption in the backfield with the quarterback. So he does have a great impact on the game, especially last week. So congratulations, Hunter, on the impact player of the week.
Good to see that big interception continue that trend of getting that turnover in the game, too.
That's right. So, folks, we want to again thank all of our sponsors, Farmers and Merchants Bank especially for sponsoring the show each year, Blue Button Embroidery, Monty Albin for the hosting of the show and all they do for us, Taffney Nelson Photography, 2-3 Collective, and make sure when you're on the YouTube page you hit the subscribe button so you get notified of any games coming up on YouTube. And also go check out the shorts on our YouTube page as well. And you can catch some nice quick action there that our buddy Kent Nelson is putting on there for us. So thanks, Kent, for all the work you do in that space. And folks, we're going to take a quick break and come back with our special guest of the evening, Stanley Tucker.
Craving some Mexican food? Do not think about it twice. Come visit us at Monema number 3, located Highway 77, 1310 Highway 77, Lafayette, Alabama. We have the best Mexican food around. Cheese dip, quesadillas, farmer specials, north specials, sherry specials, delicious salsa, the best salsa in Chambers County. Do not think about it. And also can meet the Chihuahua, Monema number 3.
Star Insurance Group of Opelika, Auburn, Montgomery, and Greenville. With all of life's demands, buying insurance is probably low on your list. Luckily, there's someone who's looking out for you and putting your needs first. A trusted friend is right around the corner. The team at Star Insurance can provide you with great protection with a personal touch. When it comes to understanding your needs, you want someone who can listen with understanding and care. You want professional advice with a personal experience? Whether it's business, farm, home, or auto, their team can help. They're not just agents, they're members of the community.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Chambers Academy Sports Live Coaches Show. We're here with Coach Jason Allen tonight, and our very special guest from Farmers and Merchants Bank tonight, Mr. Stanley Tucker. So, Stanley, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for letting me come.
It's our pleasure, man. We're really happy to have you here. Give us just a little bit of information about your background and your association long time with Chambers Academy.
Well, I was just over there adding it up. I think I've been out almost 40 years now, so 1986. And I think I told you in Chester earlier, we had my mom was heavily involved with the board back in the 80s and always did the drama club up until the late 90s when she died at 60. But yeah, a lot of fond memories. My 3 brothers graduated there. I think Alan was a 77. Mac was 81. I was 86, and John was 89. Of course, I was the best athlete of the group.
well, obviously, obviously we knew that going in.
No doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, we were looking through the stats there in the 80s, and we couldn't find very much information on you. So is there anything that you want to share with us about some of those?
Just make it up if you don't remember.
There was a lot of politics involved, yeah. They pulled my records. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Well, yeah, we don't want to get any investigation or anything on that.
The thing that in your background that you sent us today, I was particularly interested in the suicide drills you guys had to run that year.
Yeah.
A full suicide for every point you lost by? Is that the way that worked?
Yes, sir. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And we lost to Macon Academy 47-0. And that was a long day of practice.
That's a lot of sprints.
A
lot of run.
We did notice in some of the pictures that we did see that you had number 30 as the jersey. Did you help the number 30 with his currently number 30 with his athletic ability out there?
I did. I'm just hoping that he doesn't surpass my records this year. I know he's getting close, but if he keeps working hard, he'll get there.
Well, I hope you'll stay, behind Luke and try to pull him along and keep him in that standard that you established. so far back in time. And I can say that because I am much further back in time than you. So, look, man, we really are thrilled that you're here. And you know, my association with your family and the people that were there, especially your mom, it's great to have you here and your connection to our community bank. And I know, Chet, you've got a couple things you wanted to talk to Stanley about the bank. So let's move to that part of the interview.
Well, just want to give us a little history about, you were born and raised in Lafayette, went off to, is it Auburn?
Well, yeah. I went to junior college a couple of years, finished in Auburn.
All right, well, and then you came back and then you started working at the bank here in Lafayette?
Came back, tried to farm for a while,
Okay.
and decided I need a paycheck. So, but working at the bank, you realize how important it is to a small community, especially like Lafayette, because if you see a lot of small towns around the state, when they're a hometown bank, and every town used to have one 20 years ago or 30 years ago, and once they start drying up, you see the towns themselves start drying up. And now I know you see some of those areas when you go to these faraway places in South Alabama and other places where the bank is left, a lot of industries left, and they're kind of drying up. And that's kind of stuff that's going on with the industry. But it until you work there, you don't realize how important community bank is, where you know your customers and you can work with them when you have to and give them a chance. Where a big bank might not give them that shot. So
yeah, you were explaining some of that process of, knowing the people that you're, dealing with on an everyday basis. The big banks out there, they're just playing the numbers game, and they may give out so many loans here in this area, but that's enough. They don't look at what's impacting like you guys do. So we are very blessed to have your guys and your organization here in town to help us all out.
Well,
so greatly appreciate it.
I do think it's important. We try to support the community as much as we can, and we do what we can for Chambers, and but we also support the other schools in the community. Sure. So it can't be one or all. It's got to be all. So we can't but we try to support the whole community.
Yep. We do have one question, though, from the audience. They asked me to ask you.
Okay.
This is James from Ridge Grove.
James from Ridge Grove.
And he wants to know if you know what the mascot is for Evangel Christian.
We know you did some research on Evangel Christian coming onto the show, so.
I do not know that question.
That would be a negative.
Okay.
Put down a no.
No, it's the Lightning.
Look, the Lightning. And everybody knows that, Stan.
It was right here. I had it on tip of my tongue. Hey, the schools we played have been long gone. Macon Academy, Woodland Academy, a bunch of them.
Tallapoosa Academy.
Tallapoosa Academy.
We had a lot of schools that have kind of disappeared from back in those days.
Last game I played at Tallapoosa Academy was 8th grade, and they were so afraid of my speed. They grew the grass about this tall on the field. You could hardly see the football in it. And it did slow me down. Yeah.
Well, if it was damp at all, it had to slow you down a little bit.
And it was slippery. Yeah, I did trip once.
Yeah.
No, we do appreciate all you guys do helping out with everything. Doesn't matter if it's with Chambers or any school or any other event in the area, and it's greatly appreciated with all you do. And there's something, though, all the residents of Lafayette are always looking around and seeing what's going on. And we've noticed that the bank has been going through some renovations. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, we decided we'd do a quick remodel up there. Yeah, but no, the bank in Lafayette has been there since 1934. Not that building, of course. The building we're in now was built in 1962, but it was really small, and it's had 2 additions in 72 and 82, maybe somewhere right in there. But we ran out of space. We've got a lot more employees than we used to have, and the design of the bank's got a big teller line there that we don't use all of it anymore. So we're going to reconfigure, and there was a lot of deferred maintenance. Actually found out the drive-through was about to fall in and that kind of stuff. So that's what you get into. But it was in need of some work. So it's the first major project.
I think you and I were talking one day at the bank, and this current building was built right in front of the original bank. Is that correct?
Right behind it.
So you're behind, okay.
The original building was right there on the corner. I guess the street was narrower then, and this one was built within about 2 feet of it. And they built this and then tore that one down somehow.
Wow, that's an amazing thing. I certainly remember this building. I don't remember the other one. It comes back in my mind when we look at pictures sometimes. But look, we really do understand the importance of the bank here in town. And you joke about it, but we do appreciate all your support here. I mean, the sponsorship of this show is very important to us, and we know you contribute to other schools and to other activities going on in town, and it's greatly appreciated by our group for sure.
Well, you mentioned the need for space down there at the bank. Is the bank growing, or is it kind of leveled off? How's it been looking in the past 5 to 10 years?
A combination of things. It has grown. We're doing well, really as well as any bank in the state. But it's more complicated than it used to be. So you have to have some extra staff to do things you never would have thought about 30 years ago with compliance issues. Fraud issues are huge right now. People are stealing checks out of the mail. We have to have people looking for that stuff every day. But we have grown. We're doing well. And part of that's because a lot of community banks have closed on our perimeter. We're the only locally owned bank in Chambers, Tallapoosa counties, maybe Randolph, and maybe there's one or two in Lee County, but there's not many left.
Do you have any problems with people opening new accounts, asking for a debit card, and then being shocked when they don't use their debit card for like 5 or 6 months that it's not active when they come back? Do you ever run into that?
Yeah, every day. Yeah. Well, we've got a lot of people that sit around and reset passwords and PIN numbers and send out new cards.
Well, I got a quick lesson in how to operate your ATM card last week, and I really appreciate it. Stanley, you guys is it correct, you have 3 locations currently?
3 locations, yeah. Main office in Lafayette, that's where we run all of our operations. Got a branch in Hughley down in Lynette, and then one over in Dadeville, Tallapoosa County.
Any expansion thoughts down the road?
Maybe not for me. Maybe for the next guy. I've got enough employees. I think we've got about 39 employees total.
Yeah.
And there's 25 or 26 that work in Lafayette. You wouldn't think that, but if you go walk through the bank, they're stuffed everywhere in every little corner around the back. And
well, I know that
we've been fortunate. We got some really good people working for us right now.
Yeah, great staff, and they're very helpful, and they're very patient with people like me when we come in. I know you were talking about the health of the bank, and it's great to hear that. Is there anything community-wise, anything that's in the news local in the community you want to share at all?
I don't know. Well, working on this Main Street stuff, trying to get downtown revitalized, and the bank has tried to be supportive of that. I'm on the board with that, and Miss Deanna Hand's doing a good job. She's really getting after it, trying to get some spark back going in Lafayette. And
it does seem like there is an awful lot of activity. There seems to be a different vibe than there has been for a while, and I think it's great that you guys are participating in that and helping foster that along.
Yeah, and we had the district, Miss Mary from the state of Alabama Main Street Association down the other week. She said some of the stuff for a town our size is really impressive. Awesome. What we've done so far. So it doesn't seem like much, but it is.
Well, it takes an awful lot of work when you try to turn some of those things around, and I think Main Street does a good job, and I certainly think you guys being involved in it is really important, and I think it's got a bright future. I think town has a very bright future.
I think so. I think we're in a great geographical location, right. I think Auburn's going to keep coming our way, and just the whole area around us is going to keep growing, but you don't want too much growth. We kind of like a quiet little town. We want a quiet little town, right?
Well,
I agree.
We would rather you grow somewhere else other than Ridge Grove. We're very happy with the population and with the traffic. We will just stay stagnant. We'll be exactly where we are. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I know that you've got a test for Stanley, some sort of quiz. Is that right? A prediction, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
You wanted to make sure that we do that before we go away.
Our special guests, up here have to give a prediction about the score tomorrow in the game. So what do you got?
We know you did a lot of research on Evangel Christian.
The Lightning.
The Lightning.
Maybe I didn't do a whole lot, but I'll just shoot from the cuff. Let's go 42-14.
42-14. Chambers, right?
Evangel. No, I'm kidding.
That was a joke.
Good guys.
Yeah, good guys. 42-14. That's the prediction here from Stanley Tucker.
You got to watch next week, Stanley, just to make sure, because we'll definitely come back and we'll check on your prediction.
But let's go back to my days. I've joked around about, not being great, and we didn't win a lot of games, but my experiences at Chambers were really good. I think there were about 300 students there when I was there, but there just weren't that many guys there. So we had some big classes, but
I think a lot of us who were there in the 70s and the 80s, we look at the facilities the way they are now in the school. It's an incredible sight, and that's Friday night it's an event in town.
What I try to tell these guys is anytime somebody complains, it could be a lot worse. I went 3-8 my senior year and 4-8 my 10th grade year, I think. It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
So it could always be worse, is what I try to tell these guys.
Those are challenges.
Enjoy it while you're winning. And keep it up.
We said it earlier. We are looking at Game 7.
Yep.
So our seniors are going to play tomorrow night and have 3 more plus the playoffs. Hopefully we'll be in those. And it just rushes up on you. And I said this to someone the other night when Cole was in talking to us. He said he misses it and he thinks about it. And I'm like, that's only going to get worse. It won't get better.
Yeah.
You'll miss it a lot more.
Oh, yeah. Enjoy every minute of it.
Stanley, thank you very much for being here, man. We've enjoyed this time together. You're always welcome back with us.
Thank you.
Folks, we're going to take a brief break here, hear from some of our sponsors, and then we'll come back and talk to some of our coaches.
Farmers and Merchants Bank, established in 1934, is your friendly hometown bank with 3 convenient locations in Dadeville, Hughley, and beautiful Lafayette, Alabama. Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve your personal and business banking needs. Great rates, great service. Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve. Give them a call at 334-864-9941. Farmers and Merchants Bank, proud supporters of Chambers Academy. Shepherd Homeworks, established in 2004, headquartered in beautiful Lafayette, Alabama, serving East Alabama, Lake Martin, and West Georgia. At Shepherd Homeworks, we specialize in custom cabinets and millwork built in our very own cabinet shop. Contact Stephen Shepherd at 334-234-1180 to make your dreams become reality. And go Rebels!
All right, folks, and welcome back here to the Chambers Academy Sports Live Coaches Show. We have Coach Jackson here with us. Coach, how are you doing today?
Doing well, Chester. How are you?
Doing good. Just getting ready for the game tomorrow night against the Lightning from the Evangel Christian up there in Alabaster.
That's right.
But let's kind of rewind a little bit and go back and talk a little bit about the homecoming game against Morgan. So kind of give us your perspective of how the line played, defensive line played, the offensive line played for you against Morgan.
Well, last week was a little different with the storm and everything. Practice and stuff, didn't go like normal. So we went in there and we didn't know how that was really going to affect us. But, I challenged my guys before we go out. I said, just, go out and do what we do, start fast, and make sure that we don't have a slump or anything. And I think they did that. I challenged them, like we do every week, but put a little more emphasis on it this week being a different week. And I think they came out and played fast and established the line of scrimmage, on both sides pretty quick.
I would say coming out and getting 2 touchdowns in less than a minute is pretty fast for anybody out there.
Right.
That was pretty amazing right there. And, I didn't even really think about how practice was disrupted by the weather earlier in the week. So, those are things that we like to hear and see how you guys overcame that in situations like that. So anything that surprised you that Morgan did or didn't do against that Rebel defense?
No, I think we had a good game plan. Coach Nesmith always puts in a good defensive game plan there, and I mean, kids were prepared. They didn't really do anything that I felt like it was surprise or anything. I think everybody was comfortable.
Yeah, how did the offensive line do against that Morgan defense? They looked like they had some size.
They did. They were, some big kids, and we've got big kids, but it seems like everybody we played this year has at least matched us in size.
Yeah.
But I felt like we've been undersized, some, and that's, tip your hat to them. And we got some pretty good sized kids, and but we've still been able to come out and establish that line of scrimmage early and hit them in the mouth to do what we do. And people don't like to play football like that. And I think we had the same thing the same thing this week.
Coach, just looking back on the start and really the first half, did you guys do any kind of emphasis on the rush up the middle where Luke has so much success, or was it just the result of the offensive line dominating the line of scrimmage?
Well, as far as the offensive line, we like that. That's what we want to run. We want to run right there to be right off. I mean, that's what we want to do. And that's what I always ask the kids. I said, what play y'all want to run? And we always get the same answer. And sometimes coach, that's what he calls, and sometimes it's not. But we're always excited about it. And I think, and the kids have got that in the back of their mind. That's what they want to do. And when he does make that call, I think it pumps him a little bit and lets him know that he's got confidence in him. And we have worked on that stuff a lot. In camp and everything, and the kids have really taken to it, and they've gotten good at it.
It was an amazing night to me to, be in the binoculars and watching the interior line. There were some giant holes being made up there, and a lot of times our backs, Luke and Norgard as well, were really into the second level before they're making any contact.
Right, and we went back and just looking at the film and all, and when we first come out, when we come out fast, were we perfect? No, we're still chasing perfect like everybody else, but when you're knocking them off the ball like that, you're going to make lanes, and our running backs are good enough, they're going to find them. It don't have to be exactly like you drew it up.
And it's like, that was the thing that I was trying to get in my head to ask you about. There were these pure lanes from the center to the tackle on both sides, and it just opened up like a bowling alley lane. There was just this path, and all our running backs, boy, they were hitting the hole and they were gone.
That's right.
Well, one question I have is, you got two, different, pace backs. Luke Tarver just runs right at you. TJ's kind of a little bit different. He kind of seems like he's patient back there and lets some of the blocks develop, and then he finds that opening.
That's right.
Is there certain plays when when you're drawing them up? That's TJ play. That's a Luke play.
I think they can. No, I mean they all run them well, and we. From an offensive line standpoint, I'm going to coach those guys a little. I mean, I don't want to say coach them, but I'm going to catch them like, we running buck sweep. Get behind that guard, Get behind him right there. He wants what he wants you to do. He wants you to. He don't know where you are. He just knows where the guy in front of him. Make him right, and that's the kind of stuff we do. And patience comes along with that. And also, with TJ, and then on the flip side with Luke, with him just hitting it so hard. I mean, it's like a straight line. So you just chip that guy. And he's gone, and then with Norgard too, you give Norgard a crease, he's got that burst, and he's out of there.
Well, I was kind of wondering if you set him up differently, or it's the same philosophy overall. And it seems like it's the same philosophy. They just the backs kind of dictate when they put their foot on the gas.
Well, it had to make it difficult for the defense. I mean, we're doing the same things, but that running back's changing that pace, and we got three different paces they got to figure out how to tackle. It's going to be hard for that linebacker to fit there.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing to me if you think about being a defensive player against this team. You've got to worry about that front line, and they're solid across the front line. There just, to me, doesn't seem to be a weak position that you can exploit.
Right.
And then you're going to get a guy like Eli, a guy like Colton, and you're going to get pressure. And then the running backs all deliver, Coach. I mean, they will pop you in the mouth carrying the ball as well. Mm-hmm. So it's really a pressure situation for a defense to play this Chambers Academy offense.
I'd hate to have to try to stop it.
I'm telling you, man, you better be ready because you're going to get some contact from the offensive side, not just the lineman. You're going to get hit by everybody else too.
Better buckle your chin strap.
Yeah, well, we see that every week.
Yep.
Anything special that you guys have looked at or are preparing for with Evangel?
I don't think they're going to do anything, I mean, by this point in the season, you've pretty much seen alignment that you're going to see, and, they're running something that we're familiar with. Probably going to have, 4 guys up front, 3 linebackers, that type of thing. So it's nothing different, but they could, if they come out and want to do something different, they want to load the box up, load it up, we'll be ready. We've seen that too. And they've got some pretty good-looking guys up front.
Yeah.
They're going to match us with size, and it's just going to be whether they want to play football like we do.
Well, Coach mentioned last week that these guys have a winning tradition. He expects them to come up, be ready to play, and, like anybody else, they're going to want to come up here and knock off a Chambers Academy team that is rolling right now. and being very successful. The last thing, I really had forgotten to ask you this earlier. It's like when you're coaching those big guys and you're looking at how this offense is running, does the addition of Landon getting the ball out in the air, has that opened up your linemen's blocking side? Has that helped them?
Oh yeah. Well, anytime you can throw the ball, throw the ball a little bit, and it's going to loosen everybody up. They can't put everybody in the box. It gets hard to. I mean, it doesn't matter how good you are up front, how good you guys are, or whatever. I mean, there's only 5 plus a tight end and then a wing. You know what I'm saying? You only got a certain number of guys, and if you can't stretch the field a little bit, whether it be, vertically or laterally, then they put. If you're playing football in a phone booth, it gets hard.
Yeah, I think that would be a particularly tough night.
Yeah, it is, and we've seen it, and you have to deal with it. And
You hate that when the guys don't have fear of the ball going up and start just packing the box. It's really a tough night.
That's right.
Well, Coach, good luck tomorrow night. We'll be down there rooting you guys on, 7 o'clock, Torbert Allen Field, and make plans to come out to the field and enjoy the game. If you can't, you can always catch us here on Chambers Academy Sports Live YouTube channel. Folks, we're going to take a quick break and come back with Coach Dillon.
Isaac Horton, proud supporter of Chambers Academy, would like to thank you for your support in the coming election. Go Rebels!
Hey Rebel fans, Pastor Dave here from Lafayette Heights Baptist Church. We're excited again to be partnering with Chambers Academy and the Rebel football team for the 24 football season this year. At Lafayette Heights, we exist to be a biblically faithful, gospel-centered fellowship of disciple-making disciples. And if you don't have a local church, we would invite you to come to Lafayette Heights and find a place where you could be encouraged spiritually and a place where your whole family could be loved and cared for. Go Rebels!
Sunshine Heating and Air, your authorized Daikin dealer. Contact Kevin Keel at 256-825-4849 for all your home and business heating and cooling needs. Conveniently located in Dadeville, Alabama, and serving Lake Martin and surrounding areas. That's Sunshine Heating and Air.
Newman's Farm Supply, located downtown on the square in Lafayette. Contact them at 334-864-7006. Family owned and operated since 2011, Newman's carries feed for all of your animals. Tucker Milling, Sports Mix, Value Pack, along with deer feed, corn, hay rolls, alfalfa bales, pine and wheat straw. Newman's is also an FFL dealer. Newman's also reminds everyone to get their CA gun raffle tickets. Raffle starts November 1st.
All right, folks, and welcome back here to Chambers Academy Sports Live Coaches Show. We have Coach Dillon here for the defensive side of the ball. Coach Dillon, how are things been going this week at practice?
That's going good. It's been a long week. We were at Edgewood Tuesday night. Pee-wee lost a heartbreaker, and but the JV got quick revenge for us. So, but it's been a long week. But I feel like it's been a really, really productive week.
Didn't have the homecoming activities crowding into the practice schedule this week.
Yeah, that week is awful.
Yeah.
It's fun. I know it's fun for everybody. It's fun for especially the little kids at PE and stuff.
Now, did the JV team make it through without any injuries?
No, we did not. We had another freshman, daggone Jace. Jace messed his knee up one of the last plays of the game. Wow. And he's been coming along for us and maybe going to contribute for us in the next couple games. But
injury bug is tough this year.
It's tough, man. I guess there's something in the water.
Wow. I'll tell you, it's shocking to see those guys on the sideline, in street clothes, just can't play with all these injuries.
I know. Yeah. And some of them are some of our better players that we're really counting on this year.
Well, congratulations on the win. I'm glad the guys got a big one down there.
Yep.
Well, folks, Coach, looking back to the homecoming game against Morgan, give us a little insight of how the defense, lined up and prepared and then executed for you guys out there on Friday.
They came in with a little bit of a different game plan than they had been running. They were, mostly spread. In 2 or 3 weeks prior to that, they were under center, in the wing tee or in the shotgun single wing, old school Notre Dame stuff. So they came out and they spreaded it out, and they had a different kid at quarterback than had played in the previous couple games, and so that threw us off from a game plan. But we played against so many spread teams, guys that were really understanding and really understood what we were doing defensively.
Yeah, I guess the quarterback that started could sling the ball pretty good. He was dropping 40-yard passes on a dime out there to that one wide receiver, Speedy. I think Purnell was his name.
Purnell, I believe.
Yeah,
Yep.
What a great name, Speedy Purnell.
Yeah.
He lived up
had
to the
no
name.
choice but to be fast, and he could get with it now. He's one of the faster receivers that we'd faced this year. So we were excited about that challenge. I think we kind of underestimated that kid's arm. We was watching him throw there in pregame, and I didn't see a single throw like that one.
He put the ball up.
Yeah, that ball was on the money, and it was a long, long pass. And but just talking about that one early in the game, Aiden got him on the ground. He gave up a big play, but he got him on the ground, and defense held up.
Right.
That's what we preach. Make them. If you do something does happen, just get them on the ground, play the next down. And as the field shrinks, we get very, very stingy defensively.
Well, Coach, we always, it seems like every week we're talking about this with this defense. I mean, they are performing at a very high level in our opinion as we watch them. But I'll tell you, not only the up front guys were really dominant. Against Bessemer, we saw a little movement. We saw the offense actually gain some yards. That did not happen Friday night. Your big guys up front dominated the line of scrimmage from the get-go.
They did, and I feel like they've dominated every game so far this season.
I agree,
and
absolutely.
They're the heartbeat of our team. Both fronts, not just the defensive front. It's the guys up front on offense and the guys up front on defense are the guys who set the tone for what we want to do, and their play is vital. Their performance is vital.
And we can see the preaching of, you talking about your defenders in phase with the receivers and then taking the opportunity when it's given to them. You got another takeaway last week. So
great play.
It seems like that they are understanding what you're telling them, and each week they're coming out with a takeaway.
Yeah, well, each week with a little bit more, a little bit more experience, a little bit more confidence. Guys are playing. On that one play where Aiden did get beat, it was kind of he thought that they were going to switch the route off with him and the safety, so it was just a simple bust. He knew where he messed up immediately. Other than that, I thought we played pretty well on the back end.
I certainly thought your backline guys played outstanding. The fast young man on the side, on the wing there, he had great speed, but he was not open all night. He had a couple plays where he broke open. But with that quarterback throwing, he'd been open. There'd have been some more passing offense for those guys for sure.
Yeah, I think the kid that was playing quarterback hadn't played much quarterback, and that's a tough position to play, to come in but like we had thought, those kids played hard and they were passionate and they loved the game, and that's what you want to see. Excited for this matchup this week.
Yeah, tough to come in and play quarterback against that Rebel defense.
Yeah, that's
if
pretty
you got
tough.
Drew Shepard coming off the edge, Hunter Andrews living in there, in your head. I mean, it's tough. I mean, that was an assignment I wouldn't want to have.
I know. Sometimes Drew just
he's
been like that ever since he was young. He's always just had a knack for getting to the quarterback.
Well, we've seen this, Coach, several times that we have commented during the game that players have underestimated his speed. They're thinking they're going to get that edge, and Drew is there.
Yeah,
and on the far side, you got Eli doing the same thing, and the big guys are coming in the middle. But another factor, if you look at your backline guys, your linebackers, they are bringing some big hits with unbelievable speed. We saw Luke, we saw Bryce do that repeatedly. We saw Aiden do it and Hunter do it. you got a lot of guys who can get to the ball in a hurry.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. You know, if you come to practice, you hear get to the ball more than anything when we're doing defense. So we want everybody to the football. That's exactly what we want every single play.
So looking forward to tomorrow night as the Rebels take on the Lightning. I looked up a little bit of film on them.
Yeah.
Seemed to be a very athletic squad. Spread offense from what I saw, and I think they do play an 11-man,
They do.
2, and then 8-man, 2.
They do.
Can you kind of give us a little info on that?
Yeah, they played 3 11-man games this year and 3 8-man games, and so they, I think they're kind of just in the, trying to figure out where they want to be. They have plenty of numbers. I know their numbers are fine, and they have just as many kids as we have dressed out, if not more.
Yeah, I saw that when I was watching some of the film there. Their sidelines were covered up.
So he's got plenty of kids over there. I think he could be a full-time 11-man program and be fine with it. I know this guy really well. Coach Allen introduced him to me. He's a great guy, wonderful guy, and we play baseball against him regularly, and he's just a phenomenal guy. But excited for the matchup. I think that you're going to see a lot of spread, variation in the spread. He's going to probably be in a lot of empty looks. That's what we think. He's thrown a lot at us, in the 3 games that he's played. He's run a lot of different formations, and so we've had a lot to prepare for this week. But just judging based off I think their skill set is, I think their quarterback's a really good player, and I think he's got some really talented receivers who catch the ball really well. And I know the guy's a good coach, so he's going to try to scheme up ways to put us in binds in the back end. In my opinion, that's where I think the game is going to go.
Coach, before we let you go, tomorrow night, Game 7, and then we have an open week.
That's hard to believe, isn't it?
Game 7 already.
Kind of sad.
As we finish up tomorrow night, how does that open week impact you guys' practice schedule? Will you take some time off?
Yeah, I think we're going to take a couple days off. We'll probably take Monday and Friday off. We'll come in Monday and watch the film from the game and probably lift and then get them out of there. We'll practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday just like normal. Just maybe kind of get into a little bit more fundamental things, kind of just trying to get better at the little things during that bye week. And then the next week just go into our regular pregame.
Interesting to have a little bit of a break here after we finish tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think it'll be good for us. I think it'll give us, I think our legs are a little tired. And
when you come back, isn't that not the Banks week?
It's the Banks week, so the biggest game, obviously the biggest game that we'll play all year. And just excited that these games. I'm excited we're playing at home.
Sure.
It is great not making plans to go anywhere.
Man,
Every time you leave
what a
2,
phenomenal,
3, it's
phenomenal.
And the last road trip is not that bad, so it's actually going to be okay.
Yeah, down to Abbeville, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Last game of the year.
Yep.
Well, Coach Dillon, thanks for joining us this evening, and we will see you guys tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Torbert Allen, great having you up here.
Thank you, guys.
We'll be back in a minute, folks, after
much,
these messages from our sponsors.
Farmers and Merchants Bank, established in 1934, is your friendly hometown bank with 3 convenient locations in Dadeville, Hughley, and beautiful Lafayette, Alabama. Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve your personal and business banking needs. Great rates, great service. Farmers and Merchants is ready to serve. Give them a call at 334-864-9941. Farmers and Merchants Bank, proud supporters of Chambers Academy. Star Insurance Group of Opelika, Auburn, Montgomery, and Greenville. With all of life's demands, buying insurance is probably low on your list. Luckily, there's someone who's looking out for you and putting your needs first. A trusted friend is right around the corner. The team at Star Insurance can provide you with great protection with a personal touch. When it comes to understanding your needs, you want someone who can listen with understanding and care. You want professional advice with a personal experience? Whether it's business, farm, home, or auto, their team can help. They're not just agents, they're members of the community. Lafayette True Value, located on the Highway 50 bypass in Lafayette, is the only resource for your home improvement projects. Behind every project is a True Value. James Allen and his staff proudly support the Chambers Academy Rebels. James Allen thanks you for shopping local. State Farm agent Mike Spears is your local and trusted insurance agent. Contact Mike Spears at 334-864-8772 for all of your insurance needs, home, auto, life, and more. You can also stop by Mike's office and see him at 401 South Lafayette Street, Lafayette, Alabama, on the 4-lane. State Farm agent Mike Spear, proud supporter of Rebel Athletics. Go Rebels!
Folks, welcome back to our final segment here tonight on the Sports Live Coaches Show with Coach Jason Allen. We have Coach here already with us. Coach, give us your overall view of last week. Big homecoming win against Morgan.
Yeah, well, first of all, it was just a wonderful crowd, a wonderful environment for a football game on Friday night. That's how it's supposed to be, and that's what we've grown accustomed to at Chambers Academy, Sid. So that always fires our kids up. I think they play a little harder in front of the home crowd. You know, it was an emotional night. It was a first for me, and just the raw emotion of the situation.
Sure.
That was going on with Morgan Academy and the catastrophic loss that they've experienced this year. And I got to meet Caden's dad before the game. He's actually on the coaching staff at Morgan, and he was coaching Caden. And this was his first game back that he was able to just be with the team, that he could actually handle it emotionally. And so I was just kind of taken aback by that, Sid, and I just couldn't imagine being in that situation. And I just admire them for finishing this year and competing with those kids and coaching them every day, and just really was a surreal moment from that standpoint. I thought our kids played extremely well. We came out, and we've really gotten off to some great starts in games this year. We usually take the ball if we win the toss. Right. That's kind of our strategy. We want the ball first, and we've pretty much put that thing in the end zone just about every game. And so
11:43 to play after your first score.
Yeah, we had a great kickoff return. TJ gave us a great kickoff return, and then we had a long run there with Luke, and just really that puts a lot of pressure on the other team, I think, if you score first.
Sure.
And really builds momentum for your team. And so I was really pleased with how we played on that side. Offensively, I think we're getting better. I love what we're doing up front. We got some guys up front that are just really taking it personal, how they play every snap, and that they dominate their man. You're starting to see us. I thought at the beginning of the year we were just kind of doing enough in our blocks. Now we're finishing blocks, and we've challenged our kids. Finish your block, finish your assignment, and totally dominate your assignment. And I think that's really starting to show forth in how we're moving the football. And then defensively, I think we're, again, just continuing to play really well. Coach Nesmith does a great job every week of identifying what the strengths are of the other team and just working to take it away. So I thought he did a great job. They had a long pass on that first drive and got down to the 5, but we got him on the ground. We preach that. Even if you give up a long pass, get him on the ground, and we get to play again. And, heck, we played 4 more downs. They didn't even score.
That's right.
So really proud of that. Special teams, we ended up recovering a kickoff. And we got to get better on extra points. It probably was the weak point of the night, but we're going to keep working on that and seeing what we can do.
Well, getting out to a quick start, though, you scored 2 touchdowns in less than a minute there was amazing because that muff kickoff there they had, and you guys recovered the ball down there on like their 40-yard line, and one play later Luke takes it in.
Yep.
Just amazing how you talk about getting in the hole early, 16-0. In 1 minute off the clock. It's tough.
And then the big 4th down stop. Then you come right back and you face Coach, I mean, 449 yards of rushing offense. I mean, that's a tough assignment.
Yep, and that play you talked about, Chester, where we scored the second time, that's a play that we installed this summer that has not been a part of our system for the last 10 years. And it's a really downhill, physical attacking play for us, and we can read the backside of it with our quarterback, but we ended up getting a double team at the point of attack, and I remember seeing a guy's back hit the ground and his helmet come off, and then we're just pushing people down the field, and here goes Luke just straight down through there, and I thought that was really just a wonderfully executed play for our kids, and they continue to get better.
We had a couple plays, Coach, where your quarterback and your running back exchanges were so smooth that we were trying to figure out where the ball was. And we got a pretty good view up there.
Yeah.
And we were watching pretty close, but it seems to me that this offense is really running very smooth. Your guys are really physical across the board. Not only your linemen who are playing dominant football, but your running backs and your quarterback will pop you. They'll come up and hit you.
Yep. Well, I always ask my wife when I get home, I said, did you know where the football was tonight? And she'll say, no, I don't know who's got the football. I said, well, good. That's the best compliment you can give me. I said, we don't want people to know where the football is. We want to beat you up and play magic all at the same time. And what I mean by that is we want to be incredibly physical, but at the same time, we want a lot of deception in our offense because it is a wing tee based offense. So we want to be able to things to look alike. So the ball may be this way, or somewhere in between, and you don't know where it is.
I talked to Coach Jackson tonight when Chet and I were up and just watching the offensive line play. It seemed to, I think both of us, that your guys were creating really large lanes on the offensive line. I mean, you dominated the line of scrimmage, but your backs were hitting that second line really fast. And obviously Luke Tarver with 5 touchdowns had a superb night.
Yep. Yeah, we got some really good backs, and we knew that going in, and we're pretty deep, even down to our fourth-string running back, Jack Nelms. I mean, he's come in and done some really good things, and there's been a lot of years where he'd get more reps, but there's 3 seniors in front of him that are getting the mass a number of those reps. But that's kind of a strength of our team, and our guys up front is a strength of our team. And so it's really starting to pay dividends for us.
It's got to be a good feeling from an offensive-minded play caller that you've got that kind of depth, Coach. You can run fresh legs in all night long, and these guys are going to get after it.
Yeah, I think that's important. And we're going to continue to ride that horse. And then, of course, our quarterback is a very good runner as well, and I think that makes it doubly tough to defend. What he's been able to do lately is probably kind of taken us to another level offensively.
And you got Jacob back on the field this week. 96 yards, Chester, I believe.
96 yards, yeah.
Yep, we lathered him up. We gave him about 13 or 14 carries. And he's a little sore this week, but I think he's going to try to give it a go tomorrow night.
Awesome.
This off week next week will really do him good to try to get him back close to 100% as we finish off the end of the season.
Well, speaking about tomorrow night against Evangel, first time we've have ever met up with this school. Give us a little background of how this game came together and a little bit about how they play.
Well, Evangel Alabaster is a very big school in Alabaster, Alabama, which is just, kind of southwest of Birmingham.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Or maybe southwest of Birmingham. Well, the way the game came about is their head coach used to be the head coach at Cornerstone, which is in AISA, for many years, and he took this job, and he and I are really close friends. We talk a lot on the telephone, and we've just really been talking about this for years, that we wanted to set this up. Now, the problem has been they've wanted to become an AISA member for many years, and they're dressed somewhere between 40 and 50 kids most years, but they're not in a conference that has 11-man football. So they've had to play 8-man football, and they have won like 5 national championships in a row in 8-man football. been ranked number 1 in America in 8-man football. But they're trying to make the transition to 11-man. They played 3 11-man games at the beginning of the year. Then they went back to 8-man, and now they're coming back to 11. He told me he wished we could have figured this out where he could have played one more 11-man game and kept it all in a row. So that's really how the game came about. Is he and I are good friends, and he wanted to come experience our environment, and we wanted to play him because they got some really good players on their team.
Well, you mentioned it earlier tonight, Coach, that crowd, these facilities, I mean, when we are up in that press box and you look at the lights in the baseball field, the lights in the field house, it is a great experience. And I think that's why we have the stands full every Friday night. And it's a loud and pretty proud crowd that comes out to Chambers Academy.
Yeah, it's a neat environment. I always have a lot of other coaches comment on our environment, from our YouTube, from you guys, to our announcing, to our music, to our crowd. And I think we got a really good setup. When the founders built this school, they did a great job of that home stand is up high overlooking the field. And I think it makes really for almost like a more bowl-like stadium, and I think it makes for a better experience.
Well, we hear that in the press box from opposing guys. Coaches will be up, and some different announcers, and we always get great compliments on the crowd, on the atmosphere, and the facilities. And I think that's important. I mean, I think I would put our facilities with anybody's in AISD, no doubt.
I agree with that, and I think that's important because when our kids and visitors to our school see that, they understand that this is really important to us, and we're trying to put our best foot forward. We're trying to make this a great experience for our kids as they play, and for our fans and so forth. And I just think Chambers football has turned into an event. An event that people enjoy going to, whether they even have kids playing at Chambers Academy or not.
That is very true. And Coach, we mentioned it earlier with Coach Jackson and Coach Nesmith. Tomorrow night is Game 7.
It's going fast.
Game 7 is just an amazing thing. We'll play tomorrow, we have our week, and then we come and finish off the year with one more region game and two others on the road. So it's an exciting year. I think your team is playing awfully well. Sure, you're learning about your team every week. Hopefully we'll go into those playoffs a lot of them, and we'll see how things after that.
I hope so. It's been really fun. I guess it's true what they say. Time flies when you're having fun. It's been fun. The thing is, Dylan and I were talking today. They're still asking us questions that let you know that they're wanting to get better, you know, and they're extremely coachable. I've had some teams that maybe were not as coachable. This group is very coachable. Coach Jackson was talking about how it matters to those guys up front about their technique and the way they look. And so I really enjoyed it, and you know, I think we got our best football in front of us still.
Well, I do too. Coach, we really appreciate your time. It's always a pleasure. Friday night when we get after the game at home, I always enjoy our time together, but especially here tonight. And thank you for helping us get this thing going and moving in the right direction. So if you want to take us out, I know there's a couple things you'd like to say.
Yeah, as usual, I love to say it's great to play for the CNEA.
Folks, we'll be right back after we hear a few words from our sponsors.
The Pig, Highway 50, Lafayette, Alabama. The Pig, the best meats in town, beef, chicken, and pork. The Pig, the freshest breads and dairy and produce across Chambers County. Down home, down the street. The Pig, where customer service is number one. Piggly Wiggly, Highway 50, Lafayette, Alabama. Proud supporters of your Chambers Academy Rebels.
All right, folks, and welcome back here to the Chambers Academy Sports Live Coaches Show. Just wrapping it up here from Monty Alvin. It was a good evening out here talking a little bit of football and having a special guest, Stanley Tucker from Farmers and Merchants Bank tonight. It was a great time talking to him about his history at CA on the football field, and then what he's doing in the community down at Farmers and Merchants.
It was really great to have Stanley here, Coach. Chester, and all our coaches. It was great to have them, but really fun night tonight, man. Really enjoyed it.
It's going to be even funner down at Torbert Allen Field tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. The Rebels will meet up with Evangel Christian from Alabaster. First time these two teams are meeting, so come on down to Torbert Allen Field. It'll be a great time tomorrow, great weather. So come enjoy some football and some good folks.
You'll be there, right?
You'll be there as well.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 o'clock.
Thanks,
Torbert Allen
everybody.
Field. See you.
Thanks, buddy.